the companies, and it's a great, great tool to use in this course.
No, I meant, and now as you're starting with round number 2, should I go back to round number 2 so that I can follow all the decisions that you're making?
Well, yeah, you're going to lose all your information, so you might want to. You're going to lose all the rounds, but if you want to copy what we're doing, then you're going to have to. I would go to these tabs and screenshot all your rounds, but I think mine is going to. But I mean, after we get through rounds 2 and 3 today, then you'll have your information for the following rounds if you want to redo it. But you're going to lose all that information if you come all the way back to round 2.
Okay, I'll just take screenshot of yours then.
Okay, so here we go. Stop me if you have questions. I'm going to go fast because I want to get through 2 rounds. We got through round 1 last week. We got 5 stars. So here we go. R&D. So I went to the Courier. It gave me last year's perfect position. Traditional, last year. 5.7, 14.3. So, plus 7, minus 0.7, 6.4, 13.6. I upped my MTBFs another 6 to 800. And this round I'm at 18.4. Recalculate. Abel's back in the middle of the circle. It cut the age in half. Fresh, new. It's revising in September. Cost me $693 grand. Low end acre we're not touching. We're going to leave it the same, 317. And you see it's not revised. There's no red. We're going to leave this until round 4. I think I upped this from 200 to 250, which I think the computer model will never go. One computer model might go to 14.3 later, but I might do the 14.3 and leave it next round. Okay, Adam, full point, maxed out at 25,000. Recalculate, we're getting closer to the leading edge. The reason I went a full point, I just told you, the drift rate is 0.9 minus 0.9. If I just do that, I'll never get here. I got to beat the drift rate by a little bit. November, it's already far enough. I don't want to go anymore. 866 grand. Cut the age in half. We're good. What's the next one? Aft. The drift rate is over a full point to 11.4. Down 0.7 to 14.6. I maxed out MTBFs. So these 2 I'll never have to touch again. I'm maxed out for my MTBFs. Those, my competition cannot beat me. On Abel and Agape, I'll max those out in round 3. Okay? And then we took Agape, perfect position. We went, it's the opposite of aft. Aft is over a full point, down 0.7. Agape is over 0.7, down a full point. And now Agape is in the perfect position along the leading edge. So Abel perfect, Agape perfect, aft perfect. Adam will get there. And the low end is now 5.5 to 6.5 years old. They want a 7-year-old product. We're almost there. If you look on the industry conditions report, as long as you're between 4 years old and 10 years old, that green arc, you have peak sales. What you do not want to do is cut this age in half until round 4, and I move it far enough to where it'll actually lock up on me in round 5, but I don't care because I'm never going to touch it again. In round 4, I will move this out to 5.0 and 15.0. And like I said, it'll lock up on me in round 5, and I don't care because I'm never going to touch it again. And it will be from the leading edge, or the lower edge, not the leading edge, but the other edge. And it will come all the way back out here to the middle of the circle, and it will drift through rounds 5, 6, and 7, and we don't have to worry about it. So R&D is done. We're spending $3.1 million. All my revision dates are in my current year, which you guys are probably in 2026 or 2027. Just make sure your revision dates are the same as your current year. You do not want this to go out into the following year. It'll lock up on you, bold black, and you won't be able to touch it. Are we good? Can we go to our prices? So we satisfy 3 out of the 4 customer criteria right here. We have good products where we want them. We're cutting the age in half. They're getting younger and newer. Low end's getting older. Revising them in the current year. maximizing our MTBFs, which makes more reliability for our product. 2 of them are now maxed out. These 2 will max out next year. We good? Okay. Pricing. Now we upped the prices on all the products except low end in round 1 with the idea that we're going to come down because we had to get our 30% margin. So we're going to come down 50 cents, except low end I started at 20.75. I went down to 20.29, and the next round I'll go down into the 19s. I want to see what the computer models are doing. But all these others, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents down. Keep my AR at 35. I've already calculated demand for the forecast. Those of you that are still trying to figure out how to do this is the hardest part. You take demand, multiply it by the growth rate, you'll get a new number of total units, and then we have to figure out what market share do we feel we're going to get out of that. So you look down at the bottom of the page. Last year, I got 17%. He kind of beat us out because he dropped his price. There's one computer model that will drop their price. Don't chase them. We have to get our margins. Each one of these computer models has their own strategy, and what is that, Erie? I think they're working on a life cycle, I don't know, or maybe a price, whatever, but they're going to lower prices. We don't have to. Look at everybody else, $29.50, $29.50, $29. So we went a penny below them. We'll beat them out this round. So 17%, I think I'm going to get 18 or 19%. So I'll multiply the demand by the growth rate by 18 or 19%, add some extra inventory, and I will get a forecast. And you got to do that for every page. Low end has a different demand, different growth rate, and you got to look at the market share and figure out what market share do I feel I'm going to get. See, last year we were in top dog. We got 20%, so maybe I can up that to 21% this year. If I have a better price, have better MTBFs, I spend more on promo and sales, which I did, maybe I'll get 21% this year. High end, all 3 of these are really, they're a lot smaller segments. We went from 8 and 10 million down to 2.9 million. So demand, multiply by growth rate, for high end, multiply by a market share we feel we can get. 17, these aren't doing so well. These are going to go away. So definitely 18. I could probably get 19 next round. Okay, so I'd probably multiply by 19%, and so on. And when you demand by growth rate, by a market share you feel you can get, you get these forecasts. AR, I kept at 35. You don't have to do that. You can keep this at 30 and 30 the whole time, but I raised it a little bit until round 4. Increases demand product. They get it 5 extra days to pay their bill. They like us. Are we done with pricing and forecasting? Forecast will go to the top of the production page, but before we get to the production page, we have to do the other marketing. Where we started off in round 1, I added 100 to 150,000 per product. So now I'm up to 1919 on the 2 biggest segments. So I think I upped this from 2 something to 3, that's maxed out, and from 25 to 50, 25 to 50. So now I got 3 of these maxed out at the top of the range. So now I'm going to have to invest in the pour if I want this total to continue to go up and up. Look at your competition, see if it's worth it. You keep it the same, you can increase it. I like to increase it because it increases my demand for my products. Now you can see the other ones I'm lower because they're smaller segments, especially this one. Very difficult to make money in this segment, so I'm not going to invest as much. But I did up them. I'm up to 1.6, 1.5 million, 1.6 million. You can see what I did. That increases your awareness down here. And your sales budget will increase. You can see our accessibility for our products are starting to go up and up and up. And I increased these to which ones are high. So I think I went up from 12 to 13, 11 to 12. What's the maximum? So I can do that for the next few rounds until I max out at 15 distributors. Then I'll start investing in the mediums. You can see I went up a little bit. I probably went up from 9 to 10, 18 to 20, 9 to 10. So I'm just going to slowly increase these every round so my awareness and accessibility will increase. And then I'm not going to add any new products. Now, if you are getting graded on the balanced scorecard, like most people in this country, we would have a new product, a 6th and a 7th and an 8th, and your percentages would change down here. Since I'm not going to teach you to do that, I personally would just keep these percentages at 20 for the whole entire simulation.
Well, can you explain what is accessibility at the bottom?
Your sales budget, the stronger that you increase your sales budget, it increases the accessibility to your product. So more people are going to hear about it. Your salesmen are going to talk to people on the phone about it. Your outside salesmen traveling everywhere are going to talk to people about it. So the more you increase this, more people is going to hear about it. More companies are going to hear about it. More people in the public are going to hear it. Because you have outside salesmen and inside salesmen who's going to talk to everybody. Your distribution centers, that's not going to increase it, but like Amazon. Amazon probably has 100 distribution centers throughout the country, where you might take a jewelry, someone selling diamonds, they might only have one distribution center like this one. They might have one distribution center in the middle of the country and 20 people on the phone, inside sales talking and selling. So I would pretend this performance, sensors, is probably just one distribution center. They're going to have a bunch of inside salespeople and very few outside. So they all have different things of what they want. It's our job to figure out how much we're going to spend and how much we're going to drive our accessibility for those products. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So we already did our forecast. Now these numbers are going to go to top of production. And we have to produce enough products to cover that forecast. Here they are right here. These are what we calculated. Round 2. We did have a little bit of inventory left over from last round. So we're going to produce a number with an understanding that some of these, great. There's my phone. I have to ignore that. I'm not answering it. Oh, somebody did. With an understanding that no matter what we put in this box, there's going to be damages. And we're going to be left with whatever is left to sell that didn't get damaged in line 4. So with me putting in 1454, 14 of them got damaged. I'm left with 1440. If I was to change this, I'll go down 10. Then obviously this number is going to change. It went down. Still only 14 got damaged. So if you play with this number until line 4, add it to your inventory left on hand from last year, add 2 and 4 together, you should be above your forecast that you calculated. I would say 10 to 15 units above your forecast. So we're at 1502. So we're 12 above, which is perfect. 10 to 15. So I'm at 12. I think this one I'm 12 above. This one I'm 12 above. 40, 50, I'm 14 above. This one I'm at 74, I'm 14 above. Now, if you're 10 to 15 above, you have a few extra units to sell. You can check your math before we do this bottom part on your income statement. And line 4, your inventory carry, here's your cheat sheet right here. These numbers should be between 10 and 80. If you see a 0 here, you messed up. Your math is wrong. You're underproducing your forecast. If you see hundreds here, now you could put hundreds there if you're putting your cushion to your forecast on production. And there are a couple TAs, I know one in general that does that. He will teach you to put your cushion on your production. I do not do that. I put my cushion on my forecast, an extra, 8 to 10%. That way, on my income statement, my inventory carry, I have a very, very little cushion, 10 to 15 units extra, and my inventory carry is very low, and it's a more accurate description of what's going on. Alex.
So if we have zero for example, I have zero for my inventory carry for Able and Acre, and I have 178 for Agape. What would I do to go fix that?
Okay, so you want to go back to your production. Now, I'll show you. So let's say I'm going to lower this down to 04. I'm going to reduce this by 50, so I know what to do when I come back. Watch what happens. It'll be a zero on there because I'm underproducing my forecast up here. See, 1390 and 62 is like 1452. So I'm underproducing by 40 units plus. And it shows. That's why I said it's a cheat sheet. Watch, I'll have a zero. See? Zero. So it tells me my math is wrong. That's why I check this every time I'm done with my production. On the flip side, I have this at 54, right? Let's say I go to 94. I'm way over. Then I check it. See? 109. And then I'm going to go, why? Why is that 109? I better go back and check my math. And I do. I go back and check. Crap. 1479 plus 62, 1141. Wow, I'm at 1541. I'm like 50-something units over when I really only want to be about 10 to 15 units over. See what I mean? So line 4 added to line 2 should be about 10 to 15 units above your forecast. You want to have a little bit extra. Why do I do that? Because I put probably an 8 to 10% cushion here on my forecast. I came up with a number and a market share, demand by growth rate, by a market share I feel I can get. I came up with a number. I added an extra 8 to 10% here instead of here. If you're taught to do it here, which I think there's only one TA that teaches you to do it here, then yes, you are going to end up with big numbers on the income statement here. I don't teach it that way because I use this as a cheat sheet and I feel it's just easier to learn this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so now that our production schedule's done, let's work on next year. So we look, what did we produce? What's our capacity? I'm going to show you guys something. It's not going to happen in your paid account, but in this thing, and the reason, I already know that our production is going to go down next year. And why do I know that? Because this stupid computer model, one of the computers, this dumb B team, look what B is doing. They're going to let their products drift into and the E team, they're going to let their products eventually drift into traditional. And so there's going to be less products in performance, less products in size, and one less product in high end unless they add products, which a couple of them will. When you get to the individuals and it's just you guys, most likely you won't be adding products and deleting products, most likely. But because these computer models are each trying to do a different strategy, you're going to end up with higher market share in size, a little bit higher in high, a little bit higher in performance. You're going to go down in market share in traditional. Everybody wants to be in the traditional segment in this practice round. So since I already know that, and I know for a fact my production next round is going to go down into the 1300s, I'm not buying any extra capacity. And this is why I sold off 500 units in round 1, and I gained, or 400 units, whatever I did, and I gained all those millions of dollars to invest in automation. Okay, so the next product, we got the opposite problem. This product is going to grow and grow and grow. The low end, we're already working 54% overtime, which is, I don't want this to grow and grow higher. So I'm going to purchase 200 units of capacity, and I'm raising my automation up from 9.71 to 9.0 because I want to get this to 10.0 as soon as I can. Hopefully next round. But just doing that, look what that cost me. Out of my total investment over here of $25.7 million, 20 million of that is right there in the low end. So I don't have much room to invest more. Now you're going to say, why don't you have much more room to invest? Well, because I don't want to take on long-term debt. And they're offering me to take $20.5 million of issuing stock. I don't feel like paying 10.9% interest, and I could take on the long-term debt if that's part of your strategy. Hold on, Joseph. Let me get back. Let me explain this, and I'll ask your question. Now, if you watch YouTube, which they'll bait you into making bad decisions, they'll invest this whole entire $54 million because they have to keep their leverage intact. We don't, because we don't get graded on the balanced scorecard. So they're forced to invest more and borrow more to keep their leverage between 1.8 and 2.4 or 1.8 and 2.2. We don't have to worry about leverage. So if they're going to allow me $20.5 million of issuing stock, I'm going to keep my investment around 25 million, 24 to 26, somewhere in there. And then on the finance page, I'll go issue all that stock. Now, if you're worried about the future, I only issue stock in round 1 and round 2, and I'm done. I work on cash the rest of this simulation. Okay? So 20 million of that 25 is coming right here for automation and capacity for the low end, because this is the biggest segment with the smallest drift rate, and automation is very good for those segments that drift slow. So I want this up to 10.0 eventually. I got to keep up. Otherwise, this is going to grow and grow, and I won't be able to meet demand. Joseph, yes?
So what's a good second shift production percent that to buy more capacity?
Well, right here, I'm at 54% overtime. So if I want to increase this, I have to buy capacity right here. But if I buy too much, it's going to cost a lot of money. So, but here's the thing. Once we get to TQM next round, I will drive this labor cost down to like $1.38, $1.40. Overtime will not be expensive for me in this segment, because if I get this to 10.0 and I get my labor down to $1.38, then the overtime is really not going to kill me for this one product. Now, it will hurt me in the other products, but it will not hurt me in this product. And we're going to get into TQM in round 3. Okay?
Got it.
So, I added a little bit. I got this up a little bit, my automation to 5.9. Tiny bit. With the goal, my goal is to get 10.0 in traditional, eventually 10.0 in